Hey y'all, it's Stream from Where the Yokels Grown. As you can see, we are standing out here in my front yard on this beautiful evening on Sunday, and that's because in today's video it is the full garden tour of May of 2022, and my how things have changed. If you all are new here, welcome, and if you are returning, I am so glad to see you again. Let's get growing, y'all. Okay, y'all, we're gonna start in the back, but we're gonna move kind of quick because none of this has really changed that much. For those of you who are new, this is an artichoke, a giant elephant ear. This is our rose tree, and I'm still not sure what this is called. I just know it's native to Texas. It becomes a big bush, has red flowers. Let's move over here to the fruit trees. Okay, as you can see, these are our nectarines, and our nectarines are doing fantastic. We've got one fruit on one tree, which is just fine, but you can see they are doing really good. Other than the grasshoppers, they're doing good. So as you know, I walk and I hold a very large camera, and I will do my best to hold this camera still, but once I've been out here for a while and it gets heavy, sometimes my hand shakes, but again, I will do my best to keep it still. So let me show you some of the problems that we are having here in North Texas, and that is spider mites and grasshoppers. And these grasshoppers and spider mites are just tearing up this tree. It's been kind of disappointing. You can't see it, but at the very tops of the branches up there is a bunch of spider mites. Now I've been spraying for them, but unfortunately it's just not, there's just a lot of them. For those of you who are new, this is an elderberry. She's finally starting to bloom. I didn't think she was going to bloom because we transplanted her, but she's starting to get her flowers, which means we'll have some elderberries this year. And for any of you who have been around for a while and you watch the edible flower, this is the giant hibiscus. I'm going to back up just a little bit so you can see how big she is. And as you can see, she is pretty big. As long as the grasshoppers don't destroy her, she should probably double, about 3 to 4 times bigger than what she is right there. And then we have some flowers around. This is the pepper garden. Nothing much has changed here. I want to get to the things that have changed a lot, with the exception of this volunteer petunia, and this is a bubblegum petunia, so she should get pretty big, but she's a volunteer this year. And then the passion fruit vine, look at that, it's got blooms all over it. So here is what's changed since the last time we did a tour. This is the cherry garden, and it has been maybe a week since I was in here, trimmed everything up and kind of tied everything off, and I already have to do it again. This is our squash and zucchini garden. We've got a couple of celeries in there and some cherry tomatoes with them. But you can see I had to come along here. We've had, a couple of weeks ago, we had a lot of rain. And with that rain came powdery mildew all over the leaves because they were touching the ground down here. So here's another thing that's changed. We harvested our elephant ear garlic, and that'll be on another video. And I planted in San Marzano tomatoes there. Here is this green stalk. It's been planted up with all herbs. I've got a spinach right here that I'm letting go to seed, but other than that, and I've got what I thought was bunching onions right here, but I was checking on things and realized that the tag that I bought it was organic, that I bought it at the farmer's market, it's leeks. So I've got to get those out of there, separate them, and replant them. But I wanted to show you something up close. As you all were know that I'm taking part in the container challenge. So I decided to see if I could grow an onion, and look at there. There's a yellow onion there, and there's a white onion here. Over here, I don't know if you can see it that good, that's a red onion. So that's all looking good. We're already getting tomatoes everywhere. There's some of the tomatoes right there. And we've gotten a couple of zucchini, and we've already harvested one summer squash. But there are tomatoes all over these cherries, and I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. So let's go see the rest of the garden. Try to move as fast as I can. So here is one of the tomatoes that we planted up, and the many ways you could many ways you can grow your tomatoes. Strawberry towers, they were doing really well, blooming, you know, a lot of strawberries, but they kind of died back, and they'll regroup again and start. A pomegranate tree, not doing anything. And then our David, of course you can't see it now because all the blooms are gone, but the David Austin that we planted up in the David Austin video did bloom. And then here is Joey's little pitiful potatoes. Now with the rain, we've also had a lot of wind. These have gotten really tall. We know they started flowering. We pinched flowers off, so we know they're growing tubers down there. But you can see they're pitiful. They look pitiful. And look at the bubblegum supertunias. Look at those. Are those not beautiful? Let me get a better look. There you go. And then of course here's the back side of the jungle. Strawberry tower, sunflowers we planted. This is my native flower. I have salvia, echinacea, and I'm not sure what else is in there. We got some of our zinnias back there. And of course, let's take a look. Take it all in. It's growing in amazingly beautiful, but it does every year. There's a lot of perennials in here that come back every year. So let's go across this bridge, and I apologize for the air conditioner noise, but that's our air conditioner, 100 degrees. Air conditioner is going to be on. So here is the only black-eyed Susan. I grew several, but this was the only one that became a plant. She goes all the way up to there and all the way down. Dahlias, and I'm going to move pretty quickly. None of this is new other than it's growing in beautifully. The maple tree. Here's our raspberries. We've already been harvesting raspberries off of these. The one died. Sunflowers that we planted up are coming in. And then here is where a bunch of the spider mites, all the flowers that were snapdragons in the center right here, all were covered in spider mites. So I pulled them out, got them out, and just got them out of the way. And let me show you what spider mites look like. Do y'all see that? Can you see that webbing? Those are spider mites. And they're all over here. So we are fighting it pretty hard. And then of course over here, let me show you what's happening over here. Now, I have never had ants do anything like this. I'm gonna zoom in. Y'all see the ants? Have you all ever had your ants eat your strawberries like this? And in the past, oddly enough, in the past when I've had ants do this, if you turn the leaves over, there are eggs, and it's usually this beetle that we fight every year. It looks just like a cucumber beetle, but it's not. So I don't know if that's what they're doing, but here's another example of the grasshoppers. They are just decimating. Now they haven't made their way to the front yard yet, but it's just a matter of time. Here's some tomatoes. These are all homestead tomatoes that we planted. And then I got some ground cherries that I have to plant up. I've got some plants here I got to plant up. Bubblegum. No, lollipop echinacea. These are all of the tomatillas. As you can see, they're doing wonderful. Here we go. We're going to go out into the front gardens now. Okay, we're going to start here at the door. As you can see, I got a couple of things laying about because we're still working on some things up here. But a lot has changed since the last tour, and as you can see right here in front of us, this is our no-till, no-dig potato garden. So this was our third planting of potatoes. As we turn around, this is the front food forest. And if you got to see the front yard garden chores and Epic Transformation, the transformation, if you're new, was for right here, and I'll put the link to that video down in the description. And at the end of this video I will put a link to our tour for April of 2022. So these tomatoes that you see right here were all grown here last year from a cherry tomato that I had purchased because I didn't get any of my cherry tomatoes to grow from seed. So I purchased one, and then I took some of those tomatoes and kept the seeds, and then these tomatoes that you see right here were all grown from those seeds. So a little closer look at the potato garden. This is a hellebore right here, and then this is an evergreen fern. And then here is another issue. We've got some, if you can see it right here, we have some watermelon growing right there. But here is another look at what spider mites do to your plants. They just terrorize them. We're getting ready to redo the window boxes. I'll show you those plants here in just a minute up here in the front. And there's that gorgeous, if you hadn't seen it before, my husband redid this whole pathway. It was part of that Epic Transformation. And then here's one of the tomatoes in the bags that we planted up in the video, how to grow your tomatoes in many ways. And then these down here are garlic chives. Now I've had these garlic chives for 25 years. I brought them from my old house. We lived there for 5 years, and we've lived in this house for 20 years now, and they just keep reproducing. We planted up some flowers in here. This is a bubblegum super tunia, and this back here is a pink salvia. And this spot right here is a long black eggplant. And then we have that's what I thought it was, a Proven Winners slicer. And then this one over here, I think is called a peach or peck tomato. We have, back here we have, they're called honey nut squash. They're a small butternut squash. We have some eggplants planted in here, and then back in here, you can see them kind of vining up on the stump there. Those are cantaloupe. There you go, now you can see it all. So it looks much different than it did before. Alright, let's continue on. So here is our second green stalk. Now it has got all kinds of things growing in it. We have tomatoes, we have peppers, we have green beans, we have herbs, we have flowers. I mean, it's got everything. We have cucumbers. You can see some of the royal purple beans right there. And then these little guys, these are called Tabasco peppers. Let me go over here to the other side and show you the Thai chili peppers. And these guys are kind of cute. Those are the Thai chilies. Then of course we have all kinds of micro tomatoes. Now these are another ones that got hit by spider mites, which has just been sad because I had to clear all the leaves off the bottom. All of it was dead. So here are the plants, one of them's knocked over, that are going into, they're right here. These all right here are going into the windows. I just got to get it done. And then these are eggplants right here. And of course our cauliflower and our cabbage and our tansy and some flowers. What's new here are these two 20-gallon bags. They have sugar baby watermelons growing in them. And here's another one. So let's go see the big garden. What everybody wants to see. Okay, so here we are. This is the back side of the garden. I wanted to show you this. You can see when I'm going to have another cleanup video, and it's going to be cleaning all this up. I've got some more flowers and stuff that need to go in here. But this is our municipal garden. We have yarrow, we have tansy, we have comfrey, we have asparagus, we have flowers, marigolds. What else do we have in here? I think we have foxglove that's in here and sunflowers. You can see here's some of the yarrow. For those of you who don't know what yarrow is. And these are those pretty. I love these plants. And for those of you who are always into really like wild things or wild flowers, this is actually called a wild parsley. It comes back every year. We've been having it for, I don't know, at least 10 years now. And it just shows up wherever it wants in the yard. So here is our first Three Sisters garden. As you can see right here, if you look close, you can see I've got powdery mildew, and that comes from when we had the rain. And if you look at the corn, you can see that they're kind of pushed back, and that's because of the wind. We're starting to get tassels, and we're starting to see little corn. I think it's a little early, but that's okay. We have beans, and we definitely have pumpkins, and we have some butternut squash in here. And here's some of the bags. There's one here, one here, and one here, and that's all part of when I did the video how to plant your peppers, and I'll link that down in the description for those of you who haven't seen it. And for the corn that we have here, right here is glass corn, also known as Indian corn. In the center right here is what's called Martian corn, and then on the end is more glass corn. This is a hollyhock. This big girl right here, that's a hollyhock. So it should be black. This is our coriander that's crazy big. There's some more of the peppers. Then this is our second Three Sisters garden. This is another one I've got to get in here. I'm going to do a harvest video. But I have beans, I have cabbage, I have cauliflower, I have onions, I have garlic. It's all got to be harvested. But this corn is batten corn. And is where you can see that one, the wind's pushing it that way. This wind is pushing this corn this way. Another hollyhock. This is a royal bean. You can see it's doing really good in that container, but this bean, she's dying, so we're gonna get rid of her. It's my parsley that's getting ready to go to seed, and then all of this, all of that is potatoes. And when I was watering this morning, I don't know if I can see them now, or to be able to show them to you, I could see red potatoes. So we're gonna have at least red potatoes, and then here's two more of the peppers, and then we've got another pepper here. These are hatch chilies, and it looks like I'm gonna lose one. And then this big plant, which I'm gonna have to pull out, she has black-eyed Susan, calendula, what are those called? Cosmos, and white marigolds in them. Then of course here's the biggest complaint that I have between the wind and the neighbor's dog across the street, who she will not keep her dog up. He comes over here and lays in my garden, and that's what this front part is, and then the back part is from the wind. And then we have right here, this plant right here is a white marigold, and then of course we have nasturtium here, and then these two sunflowers that you see should be a burgundy or a red sunflower when they actually decide to bloom. And then of course we still have our lavender, but look at how much that garden has grown since the last video. Look at how crazy that is. Look at these tomatoes. Got to get in here and kind of aerate them. That's the tunnel. And then we have some plants out here. This I've just got to get rid of, but we have some flowers that are in here, and then over here in this yellow one that all got to be taken out and put into the pollinators garden that I started to clean, but it looks like I'm going to have to clean it again because it's already grown. And then we've got some zinnias and some marigolds that are coming up in here. And then look, this is my favorite one this year. I actually absolutely love this flower. This is a Queen Lime Zinnia. Isn't she pretty? I absolutely love that plant. And of course, tomatoes, beans, but one of the things, again, that we're having problems with are grasshoppers. And these grasshoppers are getting a hold of my Kentucky Wonder beans. So we'll see. We'll see if we have a harvest from it. And again, you can see I need to get in when I do this cleanup video. I've got to clean up some of this stuff on the bottom and take some of these suckers out. And then we're getting cucumbers. There's our cucumbers. We have tomatoes on these vines. Let's see, I was trying to find some. Here they are. They're low. I got tomatoes right there. And then we got tomatoes right here. Right there. We got lots of tomatoes there. And looks like we got some orange chef tomatoes. Well, let's try that again. Orange chef tomatoes. Let me go around here. Here is a hatch chili. And then there's more hatch chilies right here. And then of course here is the garlic. We're getting ready to harvest this garlic. But let me show you these, what they're doing to our leaves. You can see they're just chewing through everything. So hopefully we get some beans. We have not gotten any beans off of these plants yet. But you can see the garlic is ready to be, Steinbach is ready to be harvested. So it'll be part of that harvest video. And then tansy needs to be trimmed. Here's another look at those tomatoes from this side. You can see they're getting a little woolly. I just want to kind of trim them down the middle and kind of make sure they continue to get air. This one, her stake fell over, so I'm gonna have to restake her up because she's got tomatoes on her. She's getting heavy. There's the back side of the zinnias. This is another, put that down. This is another wild parsley. And we got lavender, and then this right here is calendula. And you can see that stupid vine. I'm gonna clean this out off of my plants. But I see something I want to go show y'all. Here's the pollinator's garden. I just cleaned this out. It'll be part of that cleanup video. But you can see, even though I cleaned it out, I still got more to go because this vine is relentless. Here's some of the tomato. Here's one of the peppers, and then here's some of the tomatoes in the bags that we planted. And then we have zinnias and calendula that's coming up. This is echinacea down the middle, and there's some more echinacea down there, or there should be, and marigolds coming in. But look at these zinnias. Look how pretty that is. Maybe I'll make that my thumbnail. But look at this beauty that I just found. How pretty is that flower? And then of course these are all calendula back here. And you can see our micro tomatoes. We got micro tomatoes. We've got all kinds of things planted, from saffron, from calendula to caladiums, chamomile, tomatoes, peppers, basil. There's all kinds of things planted in there. And then this right here, if you remember, I'll try to link that at the end of this video. I'm sorry, down in the description box, so you can see when we planted up these onions. But you can see there's a whole bunch of them that are ready to come out, so we'll be harvesting those. These Dollar Trees, I want to show you. You can see these tomatoes. This is a Sweet 100 coming from right here. Need to feed them. You can tell they're a little yellow, a little iron deficiency. Same thing on this one. They're doing really good. You can see the tomatoes coming in and down, but there's a tomato I want to show you that blows my mind, the size of the stalk that's coming out of this green stalk. Okay, can you all see that? These are my fingers. You see my fingers? It is huge. But you can see I'm having a lot of problems here. I've got a lot of powdery mildew, and I also have spider mites right here. And since I don't spray back here, it makes it really difficult to try and keep things under control, because we don't spray because of the caterpillars. But you can see we have dragon beans, lots of dragon beans. And then over here, we have yellow wax beans. We have parsley that's going to seed. This is our container corn. Look how good that looks. And then look at the onions down here. The onions look... Okay, y'all, I gotta finish this video up. My camera keeps overheating for some reason. It's a brand new camera, I don't know why. But we got some flowers here. Aren't they pretty? This is the third Three Sisters garden that we have. We have container corn, we have beans on each side, and this right here is a honey nut butter squash. And then of course this is the back side of the pollinators garden, but there's a whole bunch of flowers getting ready to go in here. Let me get back out of here. I'm just gonna pan so you can see it all. So there it is. I saw some issues with some tomatoes. I'm not sure why I'm having them, but that'll be an update at a later time. Hey y'all, I just want to say thanks for hanging out with me today during this garden tour of May of 22 during this beautiful evening. I truly appreciate your time. I know sometimes these videos can kind of drag on a little bit, but you stay till the end and I truly appreciate it, and I love each and every one of you for it. If you found some kind of value in this, please give us a like and a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button, because new videos are posted often. Until I see you in the next video, you all take care of yourself, you keep your heads up, and more importantly, you keep growing. Bye-bye, y'all.